Hey, welcome to Northumberland Zoo on YouTube. My name is Maxine and I work here. Now today I am down at the Serval enclosure. We're going to give you a little update on our Serval. Probably about a month ago now I gave you an update about Ikati. It's our male Serval who was rescued from AAP. He was like an ex-pet in Holland. He ate that bone and it pierced his gut, and that was an absolute nightmare, and he recovered from that. But unfortunately we've had some more drama down in the Serval enclosure, so I'm going to share that with you today. What's happening?
So Gareth and Stanko are just getting prepped at the vets. Elizabeth took a video when we finally got him up to show how he was walking. So they've got that, and then we've put him in a smaller crate as we could, really, so that they don't think they'll be able to necessarily pole syringe him, so they'll probably gas him down, and then take some X-rays and see if we can see what's happening. I'm just going to check the...
So, was he up and walking this morning?
Pardon?
Was he up and walking?
He was fine. He was trying to watch the wallabies this morning up and down
He
the
must have
fence line
just
and
jumped
stuff.
down from something.
I think he's jumped off one of the platforms, but until we have an X-ray we're not going to be 100% sure.
Put your ending first because you've got the...
How easy was it to crate him?
Pretty easy.
It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
We essentially made a raceway, but
Yeah.
very close to the crate, and to get away from us he just went into the crate.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah.
So once Ikati got up to the vets and they managed to get him gassed down and we could have a look at him and get some X-rays, they had an orthopedic surgeon on hand, and once they took the X-rays we knew that it didn't look good.
The worry is that this has had a predisposing fracture. It's already had some disease. I think it's cracked its bone. The worry you have with this is that you've got a combination, so more than two fragments. So you've got several small fragments which don't have a good blood supply. You've got a bone that probably isn't healthy. So we think something's going on in the background. I don't know why. We know whether it's genetics or whether it's electrolyte related. Who knows? It's to do with the calcium controls in the body.
It was really hard to hear the results of the X-rays and to see it on the screen and how significantly the bone had shattered. And with this information, we made the decision to put Ikati to sleep. This injury was extremely unusual. There was obviously something underlying there. And we knew that he was, to be honest with you, it was like he was a ticking time bomb, unfortunately. His bones seemed so brittle, especially from the X-rays. Instead of the bone just having a nice clean break, it actually shattered. And on the X-rays as well, the bones appeared really translucent, which means that there's like a lack of bone density, which is really unusual. So when you have a femur break, you can imagine having a wild animal with a broken femur. How can you possibly get that animal to do like a box rest? So box rest means that basically he stays in a very small space and he doesn't move. You don't give him anything to jump on or off, but you can't tell an animal to take it easy. And then we just thought it would just be so much to put him through that. And even the orthopedic surgeon saw that there was such a lack of bone that it would be very, very difficult to stitch that back together anyways, because it shattered so badly. On the X-rays as well, it was very clear that Ikati had actually had a previous injury. We were made aware of it when AAP actually informed us about him. They did some X-rays on him because they didn't know. They're the rescue people in Holland, and they found that he had a huge break in his left femur and lower bone on his leg. And that had multiple pins in it. So something quite traumatic happened to him when he was very young, under 2 years old, to have that many pins put in his left hand leg. So it might just be that this just, you know, he has been extremely unlucky to have a completely shattered left leg, obviously the pheasant injury, and now his right leg as well. So what an incredibly unlucky animal. So we made a decision and it was truly awful, but it's just It's one of those things that you got to do when you're responsible for these animals, because they can't speak, and he must have been in so much pain. So it's just so unfortunate, because he's such a lovely animal and he's just been through so much. So I'm really, really sorry to break that news to you. The next stage, any animal that dies at the zoo has to go for postmortem, so we can actually identify exactly why they died, see if there was any diseases or if there was something underlying that we're not aware of. So we had a lot of questions with Ikati, because what happened was really, really unusual.
With this particular situation, we decided to do some extra testing as well, and that involved testing his skeletal health, because something's definitely wrong with his bones. They shouldn't be breaking like this, and it has shown that he does have some historical bone disease. This is most likely from the fact that he was a pet and he probably had poor nutrition when he was young. So essentially he had rickets. His bones just weren't very strong at all. That's why there was no clean break. It was shattered. It was just horrendous the way that it broke. It was never going to be a good outcome. So this has kind of proved that having a serval as a pet is really not a good idea. If you can't provide them with the nutrition that they require and the exercise as well as they're growing, then they're just never going to grow up to be healthy animals. And we can tell that now from these results that we've done. We also know he has deformities in his skeleton. His sternum was deformed. So this was just never a healthy animal, unfortunately. He was in our holding area here, and this is very limited in what's actually in there. It's quite a good area for sort of training that animal to get back to full health again. It's only got one low platform, like a hammock in there as well. Really nothing that you would expect an animal to injure themselves on at all. So the fact that he's broken his leg so severely just by jumping down from this low platform suggests even stronger, it's a stronger case of the fact that he had a very unhealthy skeleton from the start. So this unfortunately means that Afia is now on her own again, which was the whole reason for bringing Ikati in, was to have a companion for Afia. Not for breeding purposes. Ikati was castrated. It was just to allow her to be a bit more of a cat, because she is actually hand-reared. She was born in a zoo, but unfortunately her mum abandoned her, so she had to be hand-reared. She's been here for about 4 years now, and she's been doing fine on her own, apart from the fact that she doesn't really behave like a cat. She's really people orientated, and that comes from being hand-reared. So we were quite keen to bring in a companion for her, so that 2 cats together, she could learn from him, they would be great mates, and she would maybe be a bit more of a cat and not rely on us so much as keepers. We learnt that Afia was quite nervous. She showed some anxiety. She'd never been around another serval before, but that anxiety actually decreased over time as we did this gradual introduction, and Ikati turned out to be a really positive partner for her. So that kind of makes this even more devastating, that we just got them together. They were great partners, and then unfortunately he died. The rescue centre, AAP, where we got Ikati from, they're actually overrun with serval at the moment, because unfortunately it's still happening. People are still keeping them as pets, then they don't want them anymore because they don't make good pets, and then they go to the rescue centre. So obviously they're quite keen to place more serval in zoos, because we can provide them with really great homes. But we just need to be really sure that we choose the right companion for Afia, so that we don't affect her life in a negative way. She's all right on her own, but we would love, if we could, to bring a new companion in.
Although Afia seems to have gotten over this quite easily, it's been a really devastating blow for the team. As I said in the last video that we did about him when we had the last issue, no one wants to bring in a brand new animal and have to say goodbye. So, and Ikati was such a sweet individual, and it was a huge blow for the team, and a massive miss for the zoo, and a massive miss for little Afia here. But you can see she's chilling out. She's quite happy and quite content.
Enjoying the sun.
She's enjoying the sun.
It's a good time of year for a serval.
Yeah. I'm so sorry to bring that news to you, but this is the story of the zoo. This is what happens. This is, what we have to deal with. And these kind of things don't get any easier. But yeah, I hope that makes sense. If you've got any questions, please do pop them in the comments below and I shall get back to them. But if you haven't done already, please do remember to like this video and subscribe to the zoo channel and support us in everything that we do, and it really helps us keep going. I hope you're having a good week, and I shall see you soon.